At the next 7 days, from let's say the 10th of December through to the 16th, we of course know that yesterday, the 8th of December, was our full moon. So we've still sort of got a little bit of that energy floating around for today and tomorrow. So that will probably become a bit of a factor. That's okay. So let's have a look and see how we go. Okay, so for the next 7 days, we have a really interesting shifting of energies happening at the moment. Really interesting. All right, so the first card that's come up is singing and dancing. Okay, so we've got, this is, when this card comes up, it's to do with expressing yourself and awakening your psychic senses through the magical power of music and movement. Okay, so when I see this here, not only for me, but for others, it's time to stop being so goddamn serious. It's like we all get really, really bogged down, especially at this time of year. And it doesn't really matter what industry you're in. At this time of year, we all get so serious with being, you know, everybody's got the pressure on. They all want everything done yesterday. In fact, they want it done last week. And so we all feel the stress, especially if we're energetically aware, empaths, psychically aware people who are just little psychic sponges, and we're picking up everybody else's stuff and it's weighing us down. All right. So this little card here is about letting that out. Because it's not just about awakening your psychic senses, because they're already on full ball at the moment. This, to me, when I'm reading this one at the moment, it is about letting go of the stress and the strain of this time of year and meeting deadlines and allowing yourself to just have some moments of joyousness and laughter. And, you know, it's one of the reasons why I absolutely do love Christmas movies. They are rom-coms and they are silly and they might have a little bit of a tearjerker in there, but they always make me smile. And that's one of the reasons why I really like it, because it's a nice sort of juxtaposition to feeling all of that, especially when you go into the supermarket or the malls or the shopping centers or anything like that, or even driving out in the street. Sometimes it's just like, oh, you know, you're just feeling that pre-Christmas stress. So this card is an invitation to you to let it out. So the next one we've got is the God box. So the God box is coming up to say, you know, it really is. And I think this is, yes, thank you. So this is about a full moon releasing ceremony. So if you require to let go of anything, do it tonight. So if you're in the Northern Hemisphere, obviously, you'll get to do that tonight. That's your full moon tonight. And even for us in the Southern Hemisphere, you can still catch that tonight if you wish. All right, so put your worries down. You can even release some of those things out into the world to be manifested, for things that you do wish to create. But it's by this reading, I'm actually seeing a lot more of just letting go. Just let the stuff go. Let the worries go. Let the stress go. Let the everything go. Okay. The next card that we've got, interestingly, is shield yourself. So shielding yourself can be done in a variety of ways. So some of you love to use your crystals. Some of you love to use light around you. Some of you love to use incense, or you know, other forms of herbs or burning or whatever. For me personally, I don't necessarily consider it shielding, but I get that it is. So this is about allowing myself to be able to function in the world without being at the effect of other people's energies, right? So we do this by for me, I do this by expanding out. That's why I take you all through that beautiful expanding out process whenever we go into a meditation or a healing or anything like that. That's why I do the expanding out. Because when I expand out, it's like the energies that anybody is releasing just passes straight through. It never gets stuck. Because if we look at our fingers, right, if we clamp them up like that, right, any energies that are coming through get stuck or bounce back, right? Whereas if you expand them out, if you expand out your energy, what happens is those energies that are being released from others just float straight through. So that's one of the reasons why I do that expanding out. It's a reminder to me to expand out. It's a reminder to you to use whatever tools you are comfortable with and you have the best results with. All right, I'm not going to say my way is the only way because everybody's different. Some people love using the, opalescent light or the golden light or white light or whatever light you choose. Some people totally love their crystals and will put them everywhere and wear them and, sleep with them and all of that sort of stuff. And that's totally cool. Crystals have definitely got their energy purposes as well. So do whatever works for you, but it's saying be aware that there are a lot of intense energies floating up and around at the moment. Just do whatever you require to do to be okay with that. Okay, for the next week. The next one we've got is the Fairies card has come up, and this is about you having a really strong bond with Mother Nature. It's like keep connecting with nature, keep connecting, keep looking at grounding, keep looking at, touching trees or bushes or whatever you require, or the ground itself, the grass, whatever works for you, to take a little bit more care with yourself and just connect in with Mother Nature while you're moving through this next week. The next card that we've got is Archangel Michael. So it says you're working very closely with this powerful archangel who's protecting you and guiding you through the situation. So given that we had a couple of little conflicts that popped up perhaps in the last 7 days, maybe that's continuing, ask your spirit team to help you with that. You may even be finding that you're coming up with some differencing of opinions. You might be feeling a bit stressed, a bit irritated with your family or your work colleagues, with all the stress and strain of Christmas. So again, it's about taking a step back, taking a bit of a breather, asking your spirit team for help. And if that includes Archangel Michael, then cool. You use Archangel Michael or your spirit team or whoever speaks most deeply to you, okay? And ask them for some support, because that's what the cards are asking for today. The next card that we've got is from a different deck. Interesting. This is the I'm Sorry card. So it has defenselessness, righting past wrongs, and uprooting. And I'm actually going to tell you what the next card is at the same time. So the next card that we've got is the Void, okay? Which is about embracing your dark night, embracing the areas of yourself that are more challenging, those trigger points and those sorts of things, okay? It's also to do with the great cosmic wound. Womb, not wound, but womb. So those two cards together for the next week, I'm looking at that going, you're going to have potentially a lot of trigger points popping up over this next week or so, to do with Christmas, to do with family, to do with money, to do with work, those things around Christmas, getting together, whether you go to work dues, whether you don't go to work dues, all those sorts of things. And perhaps you're feeling that building of that energy. And you might be going into maybe a little bit of polarity, and maybe a little bit of martyrdom, and maybe a little bit of reasons and justifications as to why you should or should not feel a certain way or do a certain thing. So with all of that, this is really looking at taking those times, those moments where that sort of, those energies are coming up, to pause, write them down in your God box, all right, and do some release work. Because this is a very potent and powerful time for releasing, and especially with it being full moon last night, but also that pressure of it being December is really bringing forward those energies and those trigger points and those childhood traumas and any of those relationships where you've struggled a little bit with. Whenever you feel defensive or feeling like you just, in that space of trying to either push your pain onto someone else or push people away, have a look at why you're doing that. This is all that shadow work, the dark night of the soul, all of that sort of stuff. This is a primo time for dealing with a lot of that stuff. We're still a couple of weeks out from Christmas, so it is starting to build, right? But it's also, this is going to be an excellent week for you just going, right, I'm going to do some self-care and I'm going to do some healing before we get there. Okay? So that's what I'm seeing from this particular set of cards, which is just so cool. Never thought we'd see that coming out in a 2 weeks before Christmas spread, but there you go. So we'll just do our last little card here now. Nice, soft, gentle card. Yep. We got tenderness. So throughout all of this, please make sure that you're being very, very gentle and tender with yourself, with your heart, with your body, with your mind. Please try to not judge you. Drop into your heart space and be really, really conscious of what you're creating with your thoughts, okay? And just be very aware of those energies that are floating around you. Get up, sing and dance. Let some of those energies out. Lighten up, okay? Be tender, but lighten up. And allow yourself to feel the full scope of those healing moments, those reflective moments, those moments of taking responsibility for your part to play in any situation you're in. If you're in a situation, then you have a responsibility to take ownership of the part that you had to play. Okay, because we all have parts to play, good, bad, ugly, awesome, or otherwise. Okay, we all have something that we have done, said, or been that has led us to being in that situation in the first place. And then it's up to us to figure out how to work through that and how to heal that and be gentle with ourselves while we do that, because it is very intense work and it's often multi-generational work, especially at this time of year. So it's okay. It's okay to feel a little bit lost and a little bit confused and a little bit like, oh God, here we go again. It's okay to feel all of that. And if you've got the courage to keep moving forward, even though you're feeling all of that, hats off to you, my friends, because it is intense work. And, not everybody is willing to do it. Hope that helps everybody. Isn't it a beautiful day? I hope you do something absolutely brilliant for yourself and gentle and soft and tender and nurturing for yourself over the weekend and over the next week. Be very aware that lovely shadow work is going to come up. But if you can approach it with that vulnerability, the tenderness, and the loving space, if you can approach all of that stuff from that space, you will be absolutely fine, and you'll move through it with so much ease and grace. You'll be absolutely astounded. So from me to you, I hope you all have an absolutely beautiful, beautiful weekend and a lovely week to come. Take it easy out there. Allow yourself the kindness and the gentleness that you truly be. Bring in that unconditional love from Mother Earth up through your body. Whenever you're feeling a little bit tense or uptight, expand out if you like, or do whatever works for you. So until I see you next time, be bold, be brave, be you, my beautiful friends, and we'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.